The Inez community is welcoming a new recovery center as a former hub for education becomes a hub for hope. WYMT's Buddy Forbes was there as leaders came together to officially open the new space.
A day for celebrating second chances. State and local leaders gathered in Martin County today for the grand opening of the newest Addiction Recovery Care Center, planting hope at White Oak Hill. Cutting the ribbon to celebrate recovery. Addiction Recovery Care opened its latest facility in Inez, remodeling a former school to create a safe space for 140 men seeking recovery from drugs and alcohol.
Fill these beds where lives will be changed.
With founder and CEO Tim Robinson bringing the mission of ARC home to Martin County, showing how a new take on an old building can provide a new chance for someone trying to leave their old ways behind.
That even though we're going to be treating rural population, low-income population, we believe in the dignity of every life. And so the investments that he's made, that we'll make in our facilities to make sure people feel that love and dignity when they walk through the doors is going to be great.
Those involved say it is about much more than providing beds. It is about providing opportunity to those in need. In Martin County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Robinson says he's proud to be able to offer these services in his hometown, extending a hand to his neighbors in need. We'll have more from today's opening celebration tonight at 6. Faculty and staff at Eastern Kentucky University are unionizing. The United Campus Workers of Kentucky Union is calling for sweeping cost of living adjustments, enhanced COVID safety protocols, and full tuition waivers for graduate assistants. The UCW is already active at bigger universities like UK and U of L. UK has seen increases to minimum wage and free COVID testing for all, matters specifically backed by the UCW.
And for a long time, we have heard that the administration is listening and that they are aware of these problems. And if that's really true, now is the time to act on them. I mean, it's time to actually make substantive changes.
Union members at EKU are currently working on signatures for a petition on their formal requests.
Well, for some of us, it's been a beautiful sunny day around the mountains. For others, well, it's still cloudy out there and a little on the cooler side. Outside, you see one of our cloudy, cooler spots, I-64 at Moorhead. We're overcast right now and temperatures struggling in the 60s at the moment. And over here at Buffalo Mountain in Perry County, we're watching a couple of more clouds work in, but otherwise it's mostly low-level cloudiness sitting right at 70. That's where you notice low 60s across the northern tier of the coverage area, and that is thanks to those clouds hanging on. We go further south, it's pretty mild. Middlesboro's at 76, 73 in Harlan, and it's 72 in Clintwood. So things on the milder side the further south that you go. And for the most part, that's still a good 10 to mostly 20 degrees cooler than we were dealing with this time yesterday. It was a rather warm afternoon on our Tuesday. Satellite and radar around the region. Yesterday's cold front now sparking off severe thunderstorm warnings in Virginia and the Carolinas. It's our next weather maker across the Show Me State. We'll be keeping an eye on with the potential for showers moving in later on. For tonight, mostly cloudy, 54 for those overnight lows with light southwest winds. I'll have the latest, though, on when showers and storms move back into the mountains coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has COVID-19. His spokesman says Blinken tested positive for the virus today and is having mild symptoms. Blinken is fully vaccinated and boosted. Early Wednesday, Blinken met with Swedish Foreign Minister Ann Linde at the State Department. He has not seen President Joe Biden in several days. Blinken plans to isolate at home and work virtually until he can return in person. Russian forces continue to attack a steel plant sheltering some of the last holdouts in the key southern seaport of Mariupol in Ukraine and other areas. This as the European Union unveils a sixth package of sanctions targeting Moscow for the war. CBS's Michael George reports from the United Nations.
New satellite images appear to show smoke rising at the site of a steel plant in the Ukrainian port city of Mariupol. housing some of the last holdouts against Russian forces. On Wednesday, the city's mayor said contact had been lost with Ukrainian fighters there as civilians, including dozens of children, waited to be evacuated. Busloads of families who had been surviving in tunnels have been arriving to the relative safety of Ukrainian-held territory. This woman called the situation a living hell, with no running water and constant explosions.
The United Nations is working with Ukrainian and Russian officials to establish safe passage to evacuate civilians trapped in southern Ukraine.
In a sixth package of sanctions, the head of the European Union called on its 27 member states to phase out all oil imports from Russia by the end of the year, and the U.S. is weighing further actions.
We're always open to additional sanctions, and I've been in consultation. I'll be speaking with the members of the G7 this week about what we're going to do or not do.
President Biden is pressing Congress to pass a $33 billion package to fund additional humanitarian and military aid to Ukraine. A senior defense official tells CBS News that so far, Russian strikes have not hit Western security aid to Ukraine, and says the Kremlin's progress remains slow. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
The EU sanctions package also removes Russia's largest bank and 2 other companies from the SWIFT banking system. The United Nations says more than 5.5 million refugees have fled Ukraine since the start of the Russian invasion. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov says there is no chance of Russian President Vladimir Putin declaring war on Ukraine on May 9th, Russia's Victory Day, dismissing those reports as nonsense. Peskov also rejected reports that Putin may use Victory Day to announce the mobilization in the country. Analysts and Western officials previously said they believe that on May 9th, after more than 2 months of calling the Ukraine invasion a special military operation, Putin could formally declare war in order to assemble more troops. May 9th commemorates the country's defeat of the Nazis in 1945 and is widely celebrated in Russia. Newly released surveillance video appears to show the moment an Alabama murder suspect and his jailer ran off together last week. Sheriff Rick Singleton now says Vicky White's relationship with inmate Casey White goes back as far as 2 years when he was first held at the jail where she worked. The revelation came shortly after law enforcement released footage. They say it is her guiding Casey White in shackles and handcuffs to the back seat of a patrol car on Friday. Officers fear they may not find Officer White alive.
Concerns that we might not. This guy, I think he used her, swooned her into doing something that's totally out of character for her. And I think the minute that she becomes a liability to him, I'm concerned of what he might do.
U.S. Marshals have now released these pictures, or some pictures, of the White's getaway car. It's a 2007 orange or copper-colored Ford Edge. They say the fugitives may be armed with an AR-15 rifle, handguns, and a shotgun. 4 weeks into Johnny Depp's defamation lawsuit against her, jurors heard testimony from his ex-wife, Amber Heard herself. Heard took the stand in a Virginia courtroom today to tell her side of the story. The actor said having to relive her relationship with ex-husband Johnny Depp in front of a jury has been a horrible experience. Depp is suing his ex-wife for $50 million, claiming she defamed him in a 2018 op-ed piece in the Washington Post when she referred to herself as a public figure representing domestic abuse.
I, as a woman, had never been hit like that. I'm an adult, and I'm sitting next to the man I love, and he slapped me for no reason.
Depp denies Heard's accusations. In the midst of his testimony, Amber Heard fired her public relations team, and an online petition to remove her from the upcoming Aquaman sequel has grown to more than 3 million signatures. Well, Amber Heard has made good on a promise, donating $7 million from her divorce settlement with Johnny Depp, part of it to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, where she's volunteered for more than a decade, and the other portion to the ACLU, which will put it toward efforts to stop violence against women. Heard has accused Depp of domestic abuse and gotten a restraining order against the actor in May. The couple filed defamation suits against each other. Coming up on First at 4, the Federal Reserve wrapped up its two-day policy meeting today.
And stormy weather is taking a break today, but it's not going to stay that way for long. The details next.